My boyfriend uninvited me from Christmas but still wanted expensive gifts. The holiday season, with its promise of joy and togetherness, was supposed to be a fresh start, a chance to forge new memories in place of old scars. I had moved from a life shadowed by violence to one with Phil, my ex, who was never violent, just cold, distant, and mired in family drama. But as I've learned, sometimes the quietest storms can be the most damaging. Phil has 2 kids, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, from a marriage that ended in a bitter divorce 7 years ago. His ex-wife, whom I'll call BM, has been nothing short of a nightmare for me. My first encounter with her was jarring. I was there with Phil to pick up the kids for a visit, and she just exploded, screaming at me, demanding I leave her sight. Phil, standing there, did nothing, said nothing, leaving me to face her wrath alone. This was the first of many instances where I felt like an outsider in his life. This Christmas was supposed to be my chance to change that narrative. I was invited to join Phil and the kids for dinner, a gesture that meant the world to me. After losing my mother, the last of my family since we escaped a cult, I've been adrift in a sea of loneliness. This invitation felt like a lifeline, a chance to feel part of a family again, especially with Phil, whom I hoped might one day love me, even if he's never said it. But then, the rug was pulled from under me. BM wouldn't allow Phil to see the kids if I was there. So, he did what he does best, nothing, except to ask me to find somewhere else to be on Christmas. The irony? He doesn't drive, he relies on me for that. I took him shopping for gifts, buying expensive ones for his kids, thinking perhaps this could be my way in, a way to show I care, to be a part of their lives. But no, he wanted me to leave those gifts, drop off my dog for the kids to play with, and then vanish until they were gone. How do you ask someone to erase their presence on a day meant for togetherness? I found refuge with a friend, Mary, one of the few genuine connections I've made since breaking free from my past. When I told Phil I was considering returning the gifts, he accused me of being dramatic and selfish. But isn't it selfish to expect me to play the ghost in my own holiday narrative? Update. Navigating life post-cult, post-abusive relationship, has been a journey of self-discovery and healing. Therapy has been my anchor, especially since I'm still learning how to cope without the shadow of my narcissistic, controlling mother. My therapist's focus has been on building and maintaining relationships, urging empathy for Phil's emotional shortcomings. But even she recognized this Christmas incident as a line too far. Phil, in a desperate bid to salvage what we had, begged for another chance after I decided to take back the gifts. He's now saying he loves me, wants to marry me, but how can I trust that? I've been diving into literature on narcissistic abuse, seeing echoes of my mother in Phil's actions. Is this what they call hoovering? The fear of isolation looms large, yet, I'm beginning to see the patterns of manipulation. Spending time with Mary opened my eyes. She didn't judge, she just offered the warmth I've been craving. I realized how toxic my other relationships are, especially the ones I've inherited from my mother's circle. Phil even sent me the money back for the gifts via Venmo, but that felt more like a transaction than an apology. Update number 1. The feedback from the online community was a revelation. I expected to be told I was wrong, that I should just grin and bear it for the sake of the kids, for family. But no, the chorus was clear, Phil was in the wrong. My so-called friends, mostly older women from my mother's generation, preached about sacrifice and duty, but the outside perspective was refreshing. In a twist, Phil threw BM out and invited me back for a small gift opening with him and his kids. It was awkward, forced. He tried to make his kids engage with me, thanking me for the gifts, but it felt like we were all playing roles in a play no one wanted to be in. Suddenly, he's talking marriage, love, all the things I've longed to hear, but now, they sound hollow, like part of a strategy rather than sincerity. I've been reading about love bombing, trying to understand if this is genuine or just another form of manipulation. I'm standing my ground though, focusing on strengthening my bond with Mary and seeking out new friendships. Update number 2. Phil's attempts to reel me back in continued. He offered me a place in his home, even asked me to buy a sofa for it. But then came the gas incident. He wouldn't contribute even to the gas I was using to drive him around. And then, the strangest thing happened, my kitchen knives started disappearing. I thought maybe my cleaning lady had misplaced them, but no, they were in Phil's utensil drawer. He was stealing from me, over something as trivial as utensils. That was the final straw. I blocked him, realizing the value of what I was providing him far outweighed the petty theft. It's not just about the items, it's about the trust, the respect, the basic decency that was missing. Now, I'm paranoid, checking my belongings, questioning whether he might have taken something more valuable, like my credit card information. But this ordeal has been a harsh lesson in boundaries, in recognizing when someone sees you not as a partner but as a resource to be exploited. I'm still battling the urge to isolate myself, a habit from my cult days, but now I understand that being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means being selective, being strong enough to walk away from those who don't see your worth. I'm working on that strength, on rebuilding my life, piece by piece, with people who genuinely care. This journey has taught me about resilience, about the importance of self-respect, and about the difference between loneliness and solitude. I've been reflecting on my therapist's advice, wondering if I need someone who can better guide me through these complex human interactions. Maybe it's time for a new therapist, one who doesn't just see my relationships as a job to maintain but understands the depth of my experiences. I've learned about the power of standing up for oneself, even when it feels like you're standing alone. I've realized that the love I've been seeking, the acceptance, it starts with me. I need to love myself enough to walk away from those who can't appreciate that love.